Everyone, how are you all doing? I hope you all are doing well. I hope you all are preparing for your management entrance exam with a lot of enthusiasm and hard work, right? So last Sunday we did a session on why one should do an MBA, right? A lot of us just end up deciding to do an MBA because our friends are doing it, because our parents tell us to do it, right? But generally, you should be very clear on why an MBA is different from other postgraduate programs and why one should do it, right? So if you haven't checked that video, you must check that one first. Anyway, so today we are going to talk about another important thing, and that is which MBA college to choose from. Because believe me, in India itself, there are 10,000 MBA colleges at least, right? And there are a lot of interesting ads that these colleges run on how their institute is great, and there are X benefits and Y benefits, right? And it's pretty confusing for students on which MBA college to choose. So, we'll of course look at ratings in our video, but I want to give you all a few thumb rules that will help you decide your college, right? So, great, let's get into that. Hi, I'm Munira Lokhandwala, and I'm Calcutta alumna, a serial 100 percentiler in the CAT and a 99 percentiler in the GMAT. I also have a CAT verbal book published by Wiley and available on Amazon. You can find me on the Unacademy YouTube Crack Cat channel. You can also find me on Unacademy, guys. So, besides taking these very important sessions for students on how to choose an MBA college, right? I'm also conducting regular courses on cracking the cat. So, whether it is, a verbal reviser or a conceptual quant related concept, right? We are doing a lot of things, and not just me, guys, there are a lot of other educators. So once you install it and you go for the plus cat course, you will see that you have, of course, more than the top 20 educators in the country, but overall you have close to 200 educators in just cat, right? And we are also helping you deal with other MBA exams like XAT, TISNET, SNAP, NMAT, right? So we are going to prepare you for the entire range. Whether you want to do an MBA in your city, whether you want to do an MBA in the country, it doesn't matter. We'll be there to guide you, right? So great. Um, which subscription to go for, guys, when you subscribe for Unacademy? That we can discuss towards the end of the class. You can use my code Munira10 to get a great discount, right? So now let's get on to which MBA should one do. Okay. तो अगर आप कभी न्यूज़पेपर खोल के ये जो अभी सीजन है, I'm so sorry to use these words, but these are very true words. कि right now, it's a season for MBA applications, and you just see so many MBA programs like MBA in family-owned businesses, public policy, rural management, right? You see different types of MBA itself. अभी institutes तो छोड़ो ही, correct? तो MBA ही अलग-अलग किस्म के होते हैं. And that is just so confusing for a student who may have just passed out from his or her graduation, or maybe in the last year of graduation. Students may not even know, okay, I have a family business, but do I want to get into it, or do I want to start my own business, or do I want to work in a multinational corporation, right? So all these things are just too confusing, correct? So I'm sure as students you all have already faced this kind of confusion, that you may have some liking for banking, and then you say MBA, and then you see somewhere कि MBA करो banking में, correct? And then you feel कि अरे ये तो अच्छा है, this is just my cup of tea. Let me just do this MBA in banking, and let's forget these other good colleges that give us an MBA in finance. So क्या है फर्क banking और finance में? कुछ फर्क नहीं है. Don't focus on all these labels. For us, right, there are just these four major types of MBAs. Don't get into public policy, banking, right? Investment management. Don't get into all that. There are four types of MBA that you can look at, right? That is, there's a 2-year program. And who is this meant for? This is usually meant for people who are freshers, so people who have just finished their college or have 2 to 5 years of work experience. Okay, तो थोड़ा बहुत work experience. And यहाँ पे actually India is a little different from the US colleges, and not just US, Europe, Australia, all these other colleges prefer to have people with at least some amount of work experience. So in the US, the minimum is at least 2 years of work experience. Fresher के लिए तो MBA is so unusual that you can list it on your fingers. For Harvard, if you have like cracked the national, international Olympiad, right, and I also have some NGO related social work, you have your own website that has some 10,000 million subscribers, then a fresher may get into a Harvard MBA for this very, very rare case. But otherwise, abroad, राइट 2 साल का एमबीए तो आप पकड़ के ही रखो 99.99 applicants are of this type. So it's in India only that freshers are allowed to do an MBA, right? And there's the positives and negatives to whether freshers should do an MBA or not, right? So let me quickly just list down the positives and the negatives. If you're a fresher, so the thing that you have on your side is of course time, and by time मैं बोल सकती हूँ कि हाँ आपके पास जिंदगी में बहुत टाइम है, पर नॉट दैट गाइज, आपके पास हर दिन बहुत टाइम है. इफ यू आर स्टडिंग और यू हैव जस्ट फिनिश्ड योर ग्रेजुएशन, you have a lot of time to prepare for such exams which needs a lot of preparation. तो ये freshers के पास एक बड़ा बड़ा प्लस है. Once you start working, you are in a good job guys, आपका टाइम बहुत कम हो जाएगा. तो ये नेगेटिव है 2+ जो भी काम कर रहे हैं, राइट? यू ask your seniors who are working. If they're working in a decent company, if they're working in a good company, they will have less time to prepare. And they may want to do their CAT desperately, but cracking the CAT becomes difficult. So, जो इसका positive है, वो इसका negative बन जाता है. और जो इसका negative है, obviously इसका positive बन जाता है. तो इसमें positive क्या है कि when you have 2 years of work experience, you have some focus. You have a better idea of what you want to have a career in. You have actually faced, right, a job profile, you have faced an organization, you have seen how an organization works. So all this gives you more focus that a fresher will not have, right? So these are the plus and the minuses, correct? So 2-year program generally is for freshers or less work experience, right? Now what about the 1-year program? So 1-year program is also called the executive program. So it's also called the executive MBA. An executive basically is someone who works in an office. अच्छे बड़े-बड़े नाम, right? For basic things. So this is mostly for people जिनके पास अच्छा खासा work experience है. Okay? So अगर आपके पास, and most IIMs for example, they have an executive MBA and they are very clear that only apply if you have 5+ years of work experience. 5 is their minimum. The average that they take, right, is 7 to 8 years of work experience. So because आपने already इतने साल काम कर लिया है, तो ये जो 2 साल का program है can be condensed into 1 year. Correct? Another difference between the 2-year 1-year program is कि 2-year program. So now we'll just look at the difference between the 2-year and the 1-year program. Okay, 2-year program में students ज़्यादा होते हैं, because that's the most common form of MBA, right? So there are more students here, which means that your networking and your peer learning and all will be incredibly high, right? You will again in some sense experience student life, which is great life, right? Whereas 1-year program has fewer students, and in fact, as we saw, right, it's a 5+ years of work experience, so it's a little on the senior management, middle level management sort of people, right? So it's not really student life, it's project management sort of life, right? So these are, the pluses, minuses, and because the number of students are fewer, your networking will not be great in quantity, but it may be great in quality, because you'll have a lot of good people coming from across the country with good work experience, and you'll study with them. So of course 1-year program actually also becomes an exercise. So here is a very important MBA term for you all, right? Perception management करना पड़ता है ज़्यादा. So whether you are serious or not, whether you are great at solving case studies or not, you have to create the perception that you are, because you are going to work with people, right, who are already at senior positions. You can't afford to come out looking like a buffoon, right? So these are the plus and the minuses for 2-year, 1-year program. For most of us candidates, right? I'm sure you all are all looking at the 2-year program. Then you also have an MDP. MDP का full form है Management Development Program. So these are छोटे programs. It can be a weekend program. Sometimes it is a 3-week program. So these, or even a 1-month program, these are generally financed by the company for its employees. So it's not meant for students who are really aspiring to do a full-time MBA. Okay, and then of course there is the distance MBA. Oof. So distance MBA, guys, I tell students, don't do it. It doesn't add anything to your biodata. तो ये MBA तो आप भूल ही जाओ. Distance MBA करके कोई फायदा नहीं. Okay, so I'll talk about the problems with distance MBA a little bit more when we look at some thumb rules, right? But basic आप ये सोचो कि जो MBA का पूरा फायदा है, which is working with similar people, working with a diverse range of people also at the same time. इसके बारे में मैंने last time बात किया था कि aspirationally आप लोग सब similar हो, पर आप सब अलग-अलग cultures, अलग-अलग background से आए हो, तो आप लोग diverse भी हो. So that whole concept of working, of learning, right, in an environment together, वो सब गायब हो जाता है. MBA is not a theoretical डिग्री कि आपको बुक्स मिली, आपने पढ़ाई किया, आपने एग्जाम दिया और आपका MBA हो गया. MBA ऐसा नहीं है, राइट? अभी आपने, आई एम श्योर कोई यहाँ पे जो देख रहा है वीडियो, यू आर अ BCom or a BE and a lot of your exams have been a little bit like distance only. कॉलेज कौन जाता है, right? Some of you may be thinking, but ऐसा नहीं है. MBA ऐसा नहीं है, करेक्ट? सो डिस्टेंस MBA का, अगर IIMs कल डिस्टेंस MBA निकालता है, मत करो. कहाँ से भी डिस्टेंस MBA मत करो, राइट? तो हमारे लिए अभी ये 2 प्रोग्राम ही बचे हैं. अभी इसमें से कौन सा करना है? सो बिफोर वी गेट इनटू दैट, लेट अस टॉक अबाउट हु you are, right? So the MBA college that you choose is frankly, right, dependent on where you are and where you want to be. Okay, तो आपका खुद का बैकग्राउंड क्या है, आपके academics कैसे हैं, are you working right now? Is it that you're working with, let's say, a Deutsche Bank or a Citibank, right? Or you're working with Infosys, or you're working with a small company where your job profile is not defined, आप बस ऑफिस जाते हो, you don't know what you're doing, करेक्ट? तो आपका वर्क एक्सपीरियंस कहाँ का है, ये मैटर करता है, बिकॉज टुगेदर इट टेल्स यू कि जब आप अपने 2 साल दे रहे हो, right, you're going to give 2 years of your life, what kind of opportunity cost are you giving up? अगर आपकी लाइफ में कुछ ज्यादा वर्कआउट नहीं हुआ है and you're thinking कि oh no, I need this MBA to make my life at least different from my college peers, right? Then perhaps a mid-level MBA will be okay for you, correct? But if you have had strong academics, so let me just put it down like this कि अगर आपका पढ़ाई का ग्राफ, राइट, थोड़ा ऐसे फिर थोड़ा डिप होके कुछ ऐसा जा रहा है, तो your MBA college can also be middle level. But if your academics has been strong, you have followed that up, with some great work experience, then your MBA also has to be great, right? Otherwise your CV will look weird. So where you are, what kind of background you have, right, that will determine which MBA college will work for you. If you are, so let me give another example. See, the point that we are in our life, right? अगर मैं आपको पूछूं कि मून का diameter क्या है, you may not know, which is okay. But there is no excuse for not knowing yourself. All of us have to know ourselves. So you should know yourself. Okay, are you lazy? Are you hardworking? Are you willing to go the extra mile to get the college that you have dreamed of? If you are of this hardworking mentality, disciplined mentality, then obviously you're going to target the top 10 colleges in India. Correct? But if you are not, if you know कि यार this is the max I can do, कि यार मुझसे इतना, then you have to optimize, guys. Instead of wasting time trying for something that you are that 20 years of your life you have not done, and suddenly you can't start becoming disciplined. So I'm just being frank with you, right? It is important. You have to optimize with who you are and what you want to be. Correct? So this optimization is essential, and you also have to look at your long-term aspirations. कि आपको आगे जाके what do you want to be? Do you want to be the CEO of a company, or are you just okay with middle level management? तो ये सब चीजें मिला के आपको बताएगी कि which MBA college you should aspire for. The better the long-term aspirations, the more you're willing to go the extra mile. You should look for a top 10 college, right? But if you think, you're okay, you have this job that you cannot quit and you have to work hard, ऐसा भी हो सकता है, right? Why laziness? You may just be so tied up doing a few things that it's not difficult, it's not easy for you to take time out for your CAT preparation. ऐसा भी हो सकता है. We all come from different backgrounds. Some of us come from a financially secure background, and some of us do not. It's okay. You have to optimize with what you know about your circumstances, what you know about your own nature. Right? So ये सब मद्देनजर रखते हुए, now let's look at some college ratings. तो ये मैंने Business Today से rating निकाला है. So let me just be very clear that the source is Business Today. Now आप लोग जरा ये रेटिंग अच्छे से खुद देख लीजिए for a second, and then we can discuss this. Business Today, yeah, Business Today के रेटिंग्स हैं ये. Okay, तो आप लोग भी जरा गौर फरमाइए. So you will see कि first is IIM Ahmedabad, correct? Then it's IIM Calcutta, then there's XLRI, FMS, IIM Kozhikode, Indore. Tell me, does this make sense to you, the ratings? So for me, it doesn't make sense because IIM Calcutta is not on top, right? I'm from IIM Calcutta and I'm like, कोई भी rating अच्छा है अगर तो Calcutta top पे होगा, but forget that. That is just patriotism in some sense. But what I'm talking about is कि देखो IIM Ahmedabad नहीं है, sorry, Bangalore नहीं है. Correct? Where is Lucknow? Lucknow के ऊपर ही Kozhikode, Indore आ गया है. Correct? So ये जो ratings होते हैं ना, जो surveys होते हैं, analysis होता है, इसमें first of all a college has to apply sometimes, or a college has to give out information. Okay, so when ये सब होता है, then a Business Today will consider a college. So if IIM Bangalore ने information ही नहीं दिया है, so it will not come in this rating. That does not mean that it's in the next 20. IIM Bangalore will be in the top 5 definitely, behind IIM Calcutta. Right? So the point is कि you don't know ratings में किसने apply किया है, किसने apply नहीं किया. And then बीच में अभी there was all this brouhaha कि यार film fair के awards बिकते हैं. तो ये सब awards भी, I am not saying, right, the top 10 usually is more or less very clear in all our heads. Correct? But the bottom, not bottom 10, the next 10, the next 20, what inspires people to put a particular college in a rating, you do not know. So of course these ratings are important, but I'm saying that do not bet on it. ये ratings को आप थोड़े, take it with a pinch of salt. Correct? So they are not completely trustworthy. So the good colleges, correct? Though that is basically, of course, all these colleges that are here, they're all good colleges. IIMT, Ghaziabad, NITI, NMIMS, correct? Now, International Management Institute, it's recent, so you should look at their alumni and other things. But you can see कि ये सब colleges हमने देखे हैं, हमें पता है कि अच्छे colleges हैं. Correct? So as a thumb rule, of course, your IIMs are great, all of them, the top 6. Right? So maybe there is actually an ABC, then there is L, then there is Indore Kozhikode, and then there are a lot of these new IIMs. Right? So still the new IIMs, because they have an entrance via CAT, right? They will have better students than if you have XLRI. XLRI is definitely somewhere, in the top 3, top 4. Right? ये FMS Delhi, ये सब colleges जो है, NITI, SPJ, IMR, these are all great colleges. So these are some colleges that you should definitely aspire to. Okay? But there will be a particular college that will call you and say, अगर आप वो rating देखोगे ना, तो वो रेटिंग में हमारा नंबर 17th है. So they'll mention some weird rating, okay, some weird rating, and they'll say, you just check it out, we are number 17 there. So how much do as I said, they are not that trustworthy. Besides these top few colleges, these ratings are not that trustworthy. And let me tell you another sad fact of life, okay. Unacademy, जो है, that's a great platform. And I think the only platform that will not sell your data. Almost all other classes, all other courses for MBA prep, excluding Unacademy, they will most likely sell the data. So even if the head office will not, the center people, जो आप center में join करते हो, they will sell your data, and you will get calls from different colleges, right? Okay, join us. So you have to be a little cautious here, right? The best way to do this is to join Unacademy so that there is no problem, right? But here is the final thing. What rules of thumb should you use? Okay, you have colleges everywhere, right? For example, you have Symbiosis in Pune, जो वो list में नहीं था. Should you join Symbiosis, correct? You have Wellinkers in Mumbai. Should you join that? So now I'm going to talk about some rules of thumb, some things that you can have a छोटू सा check. Hygiene checks, right? So first of all, how badly does the college want you? कोई भी अच्छी college, right, कोई भी अच्छी college होगी, कोई भी good college होगी, they will not care whether you join them or not. So they don't care because they have enough applicants. So a decent college will still have at least 3 to 5 times the number of applications. तो उनके पास अगर 100 सीट है तो 500 बच्चों ने कम से कम उनका फॉर्म भरा है सीरियसली. सो तुम अकेले ज्वाइन करते हो नहीं ज्वाइन करते हो, दे डोंट केयर. द मोर दे केयर कि अरे यार आप सोच लो अभी खत्म हो रहा है, इसके बाद फीस बढ़ेगी, that means they don't have enough applications, it is not a good college. So if they want you badly, okay, अगर पीछे पड़े हैं आपके तो वो कॉलेज कतई ही ज्वाइन मत करो. Okay, do not join a college that is following upon you, because good colleges do not care about single applicants, or they don't care about applicants. So this is one rule of thumb. Second is कि जो flagship program है वो अच्छा होता है, बाकी सब नए पुराने program, right, we don't know how good or bad they are. So what is flagship program? So for example, NMIMS का जो basic MBA है, that is its flagship program. Symbiosis का भी जो basic PGDM है, that is its flagship program. But because some of these colleges have great, names, so they open like 7-8 different MBA courses. तो अपने मेन प्रोग्राम के साथ उन लोग 7-8 और खोल देते हैं, and they charge exorbitant fees, and they'll say इसको भी ज्वाइन करो. करेक्ट? आप इसमें आपका नहीं हुआ, डोंट वरी, आप इसमें ज्वाइन कर लो, हमारे ये प्रोग्राम में ज्वाइन कर लो. ज्वाइन आवर फैमिली ओन्ड बिजनेसेस. हाँ, ये जो फ्लैगशिप प्रोग्राम है इसका फीस है लेट्स से 10 लाख, फैमिली ओन्ड का है 20 लाख, पर आपका तो बिजनेस है ना, एंड इट इज फोकस्ड. So they know how to sell such things, guys. Do not go for anything other than their main program, their flagship program. That's another rule of thumb. कि कॉलेज का नाम बड़ा क्यों ना हो, पैसे सबको ही बढ़ाना है. Okay, so go for flagship programs. Next, look at how their placements went. अभी placements कैसे, उन लोग तो बोलेंगे कि यार we had 95% placement, we had 97% placements, हमारे students का इतना highest job was 1,50,000. So you don't trust any of this. Go and talk to students who have passed out. And don't do that by asking the college itself. They will only give you students that are happy with them. You have to do some थोड़ा Google, थोड़ा analysis. Talk to your seniors, उसमें से अगर कोई गया है alumni, right? So उनका जो alumni है और उनके जो second year के बच्चे हैं, उनसे थोड़ा बात कीजिए. Land up at the college unexpectedly. Talk to students, right? 2-3 students आप अलग अलग जाके बात करो. Shy students को थोड़े पकड़ो, correct? Then look at the kind of partnerships the college has. So if they have some international partnerships, right, of a good college, then that is definitely a positive sign. correct? If they have some partnerships with a good corporate also for some program that the corporate is running. So, for example, if ICICI Bank is running a छोटू 3-month program there for some of its students, तो ये अच्छी बात है. So, look at their partnerships. Look at the kind of research the college is churning out. कि कॉलेज के कुछ मैगजीन में कभी कुछ छपा है, करेक्ट? और वो जो भी बोलते हैं, प्लीज टेक ऑल दैट विद अ पिंच ऑफ सॉल्ट. So these are your thumb rules because I know कि there are just far too many colleges. मैं हर एक कॉलेज का आपको रेटिंग नहीं दे सकती और कोई नहीं दे सकता एक्चुअली, correct? But there are a lot of out of these 10,000, a lot of them are decent. A lot of them do try for their students to do well. And those colleges you can find out because they have been in the business, they have enough number of applicants. Any college that does not have enough number of applicants, please don't apply to that college. Just do not. Correct? It may be better not to do an MBA to work somewhere and try it after 2-3 years in an executive program with the GMAT instead of doing it from any weak college. क्योंकि you have to think कि अगर मैं एक ये college डालूंगा मेरे biodata पे तो will my biodata's value go up? So I have seen some students in the past who have actually mentioned that they have attended this course on English speaking, and I tell them don't put it on your CV. Correct? If you're putting that you have gone on a course for a course on English speaking in your CV, that is very clearly signaling कि आपका English fluency नहीं है. आप कुछ नहीं डालोगे, they'll assume that your English fluency is there. So the way college का भी वही है कि a person who is going to hire you will wonder कि यार ये college क्यों join किया? Why did this student pay like 10 to 12 lakhs? So you have to, that is your basic funda, correct? That whatever you do has to add to your CV. So follow these rules of thumb, correct? I'll see you again, guys, tomorrow when we'll do CAT questions in maths at 12:30, right? And of course, I will see you on Unacademy. So as I said, we are, in fact, most probably the only place in this country which will not sell your data. Okay, so you are not going to get calls from MBA colleges. No MBA college is going to come and present to you because we trust our students know best. Okay, so please subscribe to Unacademy. We have a lot of programs that are starting regularly for both CAT 2020 and CAT 2021. You can join any of them. There is no limit on how many batches you can be part of. So आप numbers एक faculty से सीख सकते हो, आप numbers दूसरे faculty से भी सीख सकते हो, या आप arithmetic एक से सीख के, right? You can learn reading comprehension from some other faculty. So you just have like this enormous and awesome choice that you don't get anywhere else in India, right? So yes, please, we have live polls, leaderboards, test analysis. We have great content and a lot of 100 faculties teaching you, including me, right? So which subscription to go for? If you're focused on CAT 20, guys, you should look at the 12-month subscription. If you're confused between CAT 20 and CAT 21, आपको लगता है कि MBA आप ये साल करोगे या अगले साल करोगे, then you should look at the 2-year program, right? Do use my code Munira10 to get a great discount. I'll see you soon.